Frontline updates. Inside the Special Military Operation on June 24, 2024. I'm your host, Shariefa Muhammad, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Today at 12:15 p.m., a terrorist missile strike by 5 U.S.-made ATACMS operational tactical missiles equipped by cluster warheads was deliberately delivered at Sevastopol. The alerted air defense units intercepted 4 U.S.-made ATACMS missiles. The explosion of the fragmentation warhead of the 5th U.S.-made missile in the air led to high number of casualties among peaceful residents of Sevastopol. The American specialists input all flight tasks in the U.S.-made ATACMS operational tactical missiles on the basis of data of the U.S. satellite reconnaissance. That is why Washington is mostly responsible for the deliberate missile strike at peaceful residents of Sevastopol by delivering this weaponry to Ukraine, as well as the Kiev regime, from the territory of which the strike was launched. Such actions are not going to be left unanswered.
Welcome back to Frontline Updates, where we bring you the latest updates from conflict zones around the world. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, who will provide us with an exclusive briefing on the current state of the Special Military Operation. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump right in. Could you give us an overview of the recent operational activities across the various fronts? And brief us on the progress of the Special Military Operation on June 24, 2024?
The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. On this day, various groups of Russian troops made significant advancements and inflicted substantial losses on Ukrainian forces. Russian forces, operating across the north, west, southern, center, Vostok, and Dnipro groups, have been engaged in intense combat on multiple fronts, while simultaneously repelling numerous counterattacks by the Ukrainian forces.
Let's start with the North Group of troops. What were their key achievements?
The North Group defeated the manpower and equipment of the 36th Marine Brigade, the 113th Terrestrial Defense Brigade, and the 13th National Guard Brigade in the Kharkov region. We also repelled a counterattack by the 71st Jaeger Brigade. The Ukrainian forces suffered losses of up to 220 military personnel, a tank, 3 armored combat vehicles, 14 vehicles, a German-made 155mm Panzerhaubitze 2000 howitzer, a 122mm D-30 howitzer, and 2 electronic warfare stations.
That's quite significant. How about the West Group of troops?
The West Group occupied more advantageous positions and defeated formations of several Ukrainian mechanized brigades in the Lugansk, Kharkov, and Donetsk regions. Ukrainian losses were up to 480 military personnel, an infantry fighting vehicle, 12 vehicles, a German-made 155mm Panzerhaubitze 2000 howitzer, a 152mm D-20 howitzer, a 22mm 2S1 Gvozdika self-propelled artillery mount, 3 122mm D-30 howitzers, a U.S.-made 105mm M119 gun, and a 122mm Grad MLRS combat vehicle. Additionally, an artillery ammunition warehouse was destroyed.
Impressive progress. What were the achievements of the Southern Group of troops?
The Southern Group improved their situation along the front line, defeating the 46th Airmobile and 79th Airborne Assault Brigades in the Donetsk region. Ukrainian losses included over 610 military personnel, a tank, a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 4 cars, a U.S.-made 155mm M777 howitzer, a UK-made 155mm FH-70 howitzer, a 152mm D-20 howitzer, 2 122mm D-30 howitzers, and a 122mm Grad MLRS combat vehicle. 3 electronic warfare stations and 7 field ammunition depots were also destroyed.
It seems like each group had significant successes. What about the Center Group?
The Center Group improved their tactical situation and defeated the 24th and 47th Mechanized Brigades in the Donetsk region. They repelled 5 counterattacks by various Ukrainian assault groups. Ukrainian losses amounted to up to 430 military personnel, 2 U.S.-made MaxPro armored combat vehicles, 8 vehicles, a 152mm 2A65 howitzer, a 122mm D30 howitzer, and a 105mm US-made M119 howitzer.
And the Vostok group of troops?
The Vostok group took more advantageous positions, defeating the 115th and 123rd Territorial Defense Brigades and the 21st Brigade of the National Guard in the Donetsk region. They repelled a counterattack by the 37th Marine Brigade. Ukrainian losses included more than 140 military personnel, 6 vehicles, a UK-made 155mm FH-70 howitzer, a 152mm 2A65 howitzer, and a 152mm D20 howitzer.
Lastly, what about the DNEPR group?
The Dnieper Group defeated the 35th Marine Brigade and the 124th Terrestrial Defense Brigade in the Kherson region. Ukrainian losses were up to 125 military personnel, a tank, 9 vehicles, a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, a 152mm 2A65 howitzer, and a 152mm D20 howitzer.
That's a comprehensive update. Were there any notable air and missile operations?
Yes, Russian operational tactical aviation, unmanned aerial vehicles, missile forces, and artillery hit a large logistics center of the Ukrainian armed forces. They targeted concentrations of enemy manpower and military equipment in 112 regions. Additionally, air defense systems shot down 176 Ukrainian UAVs, 6 US-made ATACMS missiles, 4 Patriot missiles, and 10 MRs and Vampire missiles.
Looking at the cumulative totals since the start of the operation, those are impressive numbers. Can you summarize the overall impact of these operations?
Indeed. The numbers speak for themselves. 26,487 UAVs, 533 anti-aircraft missile systems, 16,416 tanks, and other armored combat vehicles. The scale of destruction and the ongoing resistance from Ukrainian forces underscore the challenges we face, but also our determination to achieve our objectives.
Thank you, Colonel Oguntoye, for providing such detailed insights. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts?
Our operations will continue with precision and strategic focus. We aim to weaken the operational capabilities of the Ukrainian forces while maintaining our own security and minimizing casualties.
Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for your time and for providing us with this valuable update.
You are welcome.